What up and welcome back to another Ramblings in the Basement episode.
That's what the episode is.
That's the name of the episode.
And it doesn't matter, but if you'll see, it's gonna be on YouTube now. We're going back to our videos.
Yes, we're back in the basement.
That's why we gotta let you guys know too, because
Back
the
to
people
recording
that are
on the phone.
recording on the phone,
Back to old times, bro. That's where it all began.
in the basement.
Wow.
And look,
It's gonna be a
there's
historical
wood.
site. And there's wood. Yes.
This wood.
This is gonna be a historical site one day. We'll be like, damn, this is where it all began.
Right. First was this over here. Now it's this.
Wow, we going places. We've moved from there to the corner.
To the corner with wood around us. We're in the square now.
New stuff.
Well, technically, we're in the room.
Yeah, we're in the room now.
Not
With no
finished.
walls.
Not finished. Not a finished room, but we're in the room.
The room doesn't have walls, but we're in a room.
It has walls.
It has frames.
Yeah, I was like, no, it doesn't have one. It has a door.
There's a door. There's a door frame.
It is.
And
a
the
door.
door's chilling on the side. I guess it does have a door. It's just not doing its job. Motherfucker's slacking.
Like there's a door, but it's just not put on the door frame. Or, the door's not connected to the door frame. But there's a door.
The door's slacking right now. Get back to work.
Close the door. But besides the point now. We're bringing it back.
Back to some deep shit.
Bringing it back. Today's topic. We're talking about the 10th dimensions. The 10th dimensions. Sorry, my nose is a little fucked.
Maybe 12? Who knows?
Maybe I say 11,
Maybe 46. Say.
but who knows? But
Just like genders, there are infinite amounts.
this was more of his idea. But technically, yeah, it was more. He brought it up. He thought of it first, and he made us. And we kept on talking about it, how the 2D and the 3D, how we are in the 4D.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this on another episode.
That's what, yeah, exactly.
But this whole conversation started with time being the fourth dimension, which I think both of us agreed on that. I think it was just Ronnie that disagreed.
But I feel like we are in the 4th dimension.
Yeah,
We are. In
I think we live in the fourth dimension because we experience time, obviously,
but we don't see.
but we don't see it, and we can't
And
witness
that's
it.
the 5th dimension. So let's bring it back. This, I guess, 10th dimension. Like you could discuss it to be like.
I think
There's debates that there's more.
I think physicists. Pull up the website actually. Physicists have, I think, proven at least 10 dimensions, but there are theories of up to 12 from what I've heard.
12.
So you're gonna pull up the article that I read,
We could put
because that shit breaks it down pretty easily to the point where my dumbass could understand it.
Alright. We're reading the 1st dimension.
Alright. Yeah, we'll just start from the beginning. We'll read it from the beginning. Fuck it. Ooh, look at that. Got the zoom.
Look at that.
Yeah, real nice and big. You want to read it?
No, I don't want to read it.
Okay. Okay. At least he's honest. The first dimension, as noted. Alright, we always skip it apart, so disregard that as noted part. The first dimension is that which gives length, aka the x-axis, right? So the way you could think about dimensions is like different ways of measuring the universe. That's the way I think about it, at least. A good description of a one-dimensional object is a straight line which exists only in terms of length and no other discernible qualities.
Alright, that's the 1st dimension.
Right? So it's just one straight line.
Alright, so this is what I think about, and I'll explain my way to explain it as well. The 1st dimension, and this is why I said there's 11, is because technically there's a 0 dimension as well. zero dimension, to make it more like, I guess so people can understand, is what
Oh,
zero
yes.
dimension is just a dot. The first dimension is a second dot, which creates a line, which is the first dimension, just the x. Because an x line is just like, it's just a line. The second dimension, which we're going to get into right now.
Actually,
oh, no.
That's an interesting point that you brought up. Basically, the first dimension is made up of multiple zero dimensions, in a sense. And that's how each dimension works, technically, because that's how the
Each
second
one
dimension.
is, yeah.
The second dimension is also made up of first dimensions, of a bunch of one dimension.
Oh, we could do this.
Because we go into the second one, add it to the second dimension, you get an object that becomes two-dimensional shape, like square. Square is made up of 4 one-dimensional lines. So that's actually interesting that you brought that up.
Or height, so pretty much going up.
Yes, y-axis.
Yeah.
So it's actually interesting that you brought that up about like, the zero dimension. You need 2 zero dimensions to create the first dimension, because there's like each dimension is made up of multiple dimension of the smaller dimensions under it. So the second dimension is made up of one-dimensional lines. The third dimension, 3-dimensional objects are made up of 2-dimensional lines, and so on.
So that the third, like, yeah, cause sorry, that's what I was on out too. But like, yeah, you said, the first, second create a line. That's the first dimensional. The third one would be if you put another dot right here, makes another line like this. That's second. When you go to the third, that's 3D. That's why we see 3D. Second dimension is like if we see video games or phone videos of us, like you watching us right there on the phone or on the laptop, computer, whatever it is. That's technically second dimension.
Yeah.
That's the 2D. And then which movies, everything like that, etc., etc. 3D is what we see now. I'm sure a lot of people know this, but that's what right there for the people that don't.
Let's breaking it down. Since we're starting from the beginning, just so you get an idea, because it gets a lot more complicated.
Just a little
later.
recap from school and all that.
It gets a little more complicated later, so
then
it's good to start where you can understand.
Yeah, and then so 3D dimension is like what we see now, like the chair, the laptop, the water bottle, or like how it is, like if you do
the depth.
Yeah, like if you do
go ahead.
Like cubes. Yeah.
You want to read the third dimension?
Involves depth. Yeah, depths and axis.
Yeah, you said it right.
Is given all objects in sense of areas and cross section. The perfect example of this is a cube which exists in 3 dimensions and has a length, width, depth, and hence volume. Beyond this, 3 lies the 7th dimension, which is not immediately. So this talks about something else.
Beyond the 3 lie the 7 dimensions, which are not immediately apparent to us, which can be still perceived as having different effects on the universe and how reality as we know it. So that's like where it starts getting complicated.
Where basically. I said, the stuff that we see.
Yeah, so that's basically where it starts getting complicated after the 3 dimensions. The 4th dimension, and this is up for debate, but most scientists believe that the 4th dimension is time, which governs the properties of all known matter at any given point, along with 3 other dimensions. Knowing an object position in time is essential to plotting its position in the universe. Other dimensions are where the deeper possibilities come into play and explain their interactions with the others, is where things get particularly tricky for physicists. So, I mean, we've kind of already talked a lot about time being the 4th dimension. But basically, it's saying it gets more complicated after the 5th dimension. It doesn't really say on this article, to be honest, but I have my own theory. So we're going to read what it says here.
Wait, so we talked about the 4th dimension, which is time.
Yeah.
So, we technically, we don't see time. This is why we're in the 4th. This is why I think we're in the 4th dimension. I think you agree that.
Yeah, I think we exist on the 4th dimensional plane.
And the reason why we think that is because the 4th dimension is time, which we see. We see the effect of it, but we don't see the time itself.
Yeah.
And then to get more into details than that, you have to know about fifth dimension because fifth dimension explains fourth dimension. And then here we go.
Okay, so this article doesn't really explain what the fifth dimension is, but it says, according to superstring theory, the fifth and sixth dimensions are where the notion of possible worlds arises. So this is kind of where like the idea of alternate universes comes in, right? So some people kind of confuse the difference between a universe and a dimension. Dimension is kind of like a plane of existence, whereas a universe is a whole world that exists within a plane.
So the way I think of how it is too is, to be honest, I zoned out with what you said.
I noticed you were reading, but go ahead.
But
I'm talking to the audience.
The way I think fifth dimension is like there's two. Like you said,
we didn't even read it back. Go back up. We didn't even read it all out yet.
Yeah, we did. But didn't we? When we see like we would see a world slightly different from our own, that will give us a mean of measuring a similarity and difference between our world and other possible ones. So it's just like it's pretty much the fifth dimension is time, which is like future. Like you go present, you could change the present where you could go to the past. That's the fifth dimension. That's what I think.
The fifth dimensional plane.
Yeah. So because
you
technically you see time.
Yeah.
You see you're the one that. So if we don't see time, we see the effect of time. Fifth dimension sees time, so it can go forward or back, and then what is called. So then, if it could do that, then the fifth dimension is like like what it says right here. If a different universe means a measure, it goes to a different. It's like pretty much. You instead of doing this, instead of going like, let's say you're going to go to the movies, you end up not going. There's another, like it says, like a similar world but different between. It's like but in a different world you did go to another place, like the other
different universe.
It's like another line. You're adding another line to instead of you went this line, but other like there's a thing where like the fifth dimension is like because they see time where they see the past. Maybe that didn't happen. You did go, so it sees something else.
Yeah.
So that's why I think fifth dimension
is. Yeah. that's actually, to be honest, I feel like that's pretty accurate. Or at least I would agree. I can't say for a fact, but
we don't know.
I would say I would agree with that. But speaking of what the fifth dimension might be, my theory on that would be frequencies. I feel like that's like where the fifth dimension could be, is like the frequency spectrum, because that's, I guess, another way of measuring the universe, and also it's kind of like something that exists kind of beyond time too, in a way.
That is, yeah, you're not wrong. Wait,
because energy never dies, and that's all that frequency is. To be honest, it's just energy.
Wow.
But onto the sixth dimension.
That's just getting deep.
In the sixth, we would see a plane of possible worlds where we could compare and position all the possible universes that start with the same initial conditions as this one, the Big Bang. In theory, if you could master the fifth and sixth dimension, you could travel back in time or go to different futures. So that's kind of where Yvonne was talking about, whereas like the fifth dimension would allow you to see different timelines. But then they're also saying that the sixth dimension is kind of the same thing, whereas you see a plane of different worlds. So the way I kind of saw that was basically the way the Yvonne said was like the fifth dimension is like where you're able to move through time. But then the sixth dimension is where you're actually able to choose different universes, where we move to a different universe. So like if like in the fifth dimension, you would only be able to move through time but the same universe. You can't change any choices or anything like that.
Like Dragon Ball.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like
I don't remember.
No, because like Dragon Ball, you know how there's 12, 11 universes?
Yeah.
There's always one that's the opposite.
Yeah.
So that could be the sixth dimension.
Basically, yeah.
That's technically a different universe, like you said.
Yeah, like what you were saying earlier, like the different choices creating different universes. I think that's into the sixth dimension. Whereas the fifth dimension is just like you can move through time, but still just in that same universe. And then that's the sixth dimension is where you're able to actually move around through different universes And the seventh dimension is where it starts to go into.
Would that be like Whis? Whis could go to different.
Yeah.
He's an angel.
Yeah, basically, Whis. For the weebs out here that fucking love anime. Hey, sometimes it makes complicated concepts easier to understand. And I'm here for that shit.
You know what's crazy? All this is so crazy. All goes down to God as well.
Yeah, no, that's the crazy part is that once you follow it all the way up, like you realize this shit does eventually go all the way up to God. Which is like, it's crazy. Basically, we're finding ways to mathematically prove that God exists. That's crazy to think about.
Cause like if an angel, cause like cause technically all dimensions all still live at the same time. Technically, like everything's still like everything is with each other.
Yeah.
No matter what, because
the whole world folds and the whole like I don't even know what to call it because it's not a universe. I guess the multiverse. The whole multiverse
creation
folds into itself. Everything folds into itself because I was reading into like it gets deeper and deeper where essentially it talks about like gravity is one of the only forces that reaches all the way up to the top dimensions. So even like in the top dimensions, gravity is a force that exists even all the way up there, and so everything starts to fold into itself, and it all connects.
Cause like if you keep going like if we're going back to like Dragon Ball like for the weaves like we said, if it's Whis would be in the sixth dimension I think, or maybe seven, I don't know, because he's able to go. Can he? Well, no, because he can't go. Maybe I don't know if he.
Well, I don't know. That's actually doesn't really say in the show. So it could be 6 or 7 because the 7th is where it starts to say where you go to universes that completely started differently. Like they didn't have a big bang. Like they had a. So essentially, the way I see it is like the 6th dimension. It's
between fifth.
It's like you're bouncing between different branches on the same tree, right? You can move to different universes, but they all have the same beginning. 7th dimension is where you're able to bounce to a completely different tree.
This is zero again.
It's a whole different tree.
This is a whole different other zero.
Yeah.
This is why I feel like if that's the case, of whenever you get to a 7th dimension, you connect to a zero. So then you create everything again. So then that one they created becomes even more. And then that whenever it goes to the same thing, that one goes into another zero and it creates a one.
You know it's trippy as fuck?
Just so I can keep going up and up.
Yo, you know what's really trippy as fuck? I just watched the episode of Futurama where they kind of fucking talk about this shit in a way. Because they talk about zero being just a dot. And that being like the explanation behind everything. Basically being like the pixel in a way. That's what makes it crazy is like that all proves the Matrix theory in a way.
Isn't it like an atom?
No, it's literally it zooms past the atom. It gets even closer, zooms through the atom, and it literally shows just a little pixel. And like low key, it's kind of a joke, but like maybe they're onto something. At the end of the day, The Simpsons, they always predict everything. Like these motherfuckers, they're Freemasons. They know more than they let on. Like the Freemasons have a lot of fucking knowledge that they don't share with the public. So they may know more than we do about that shit. But it's crazy because like essentially, if you do believe that, like the zero dimension being a dot, that does kind of narrow it down to like pixel technically. And it's like damn. So this is just a matrix. Yeah, you skip past 8 and 9, or I guess past 8. 7th dimension. So that's where they have different beginnings. 8th dimension gives us a plane of such possible universe histories, each of which begins different conditions, branches out indefinitely, hence why they're called infinities.
Again gives us a plan of such a possible universe histories, each of which begins with different initial condition and branches out infinite.
So that one, it kind of sounds the same as the 7th. They don't really explain.
Yeah. 9.
But okay, in the ninth minute, go ahead. You're gonna read it.
Excuse me. We can compare all the possible universes' history, start with all a different possible law of physics and attention. No,
Initial conditions.
conditions. Okay, I don't get it.
So to be honest, I feel like past the seventh dimension, we as humans can't fucking comprehend it because they're kind of saying the same shit every time. Basically, they're saying now when we can compare everything that could ever possibly happen, like, but also, you know what? I feel like what they're saying there with the ninth, they're saying all different possible laws of physics. So in that one, they're talking about completely different universes where the laws of physics are completely different. Where like gravity might not even exist in that or some shit like some completely different law. Maybe not gravity, but like different laws of physics.
Huh.
I don't even know how
Like after this, I don't know what could go more.
the 10th dimension is where it says everything that is ever possible and imaginable is covered. Beyond this, nothing can be imagined beyond us lowly mortals, which makes it the natural limitation of what we can conceive in terms of dimensions. So I feel like beyond that is where we start seeing like god levels of like that's where like deities exist. But I feel like in that 10th dimension is where you start to see. Is this where they have the drawing? Scroll down. There was an actual image that I saw. There you go. That's supposed to be like what it all looks like. It's like all the ball folding into itself.
Huh.
And I feel like that's where you reach the 10th dimension where you see that. It's where you're able to just see that and it's just all one big orb and it's just like that's everything of existence. And it's just one big giant orb.
True. But yeah,
that's where God is, watching everything.
Yeah, watching us get closer to him. I mean, this whole thing is just a journey to get closer to God.
You know what I think about sometimes, low-key?
Yeah.
And I know this sounds kind of crazy, but it kind of feels like this is all just one massive chess match between like God and the devil. And it's kind of like, have you played 4D chess?
No.
I've never played it either, but I've seen like a couple videos. That shit looks way too complicated, so I've never even wanted to try. But it does seem kind of interesting. So I've like watched a couple times, and basically it's like you like play through different timelines, and it's like even if you get checkmated, you could just like go to a different timeline.
Wait, you didn't get checkmated?
Yeah, and it's like I've never fucking played it, so I can't explain it fully. But the idea behind it, where it's like I kind of see like that's kind of how I feel the universe, or I guess the multiverse works. Whereas like in one universe, you might have like lost like God might have lost you to the devil, right? Like in one universe, you become a completely terrible person, but like in another universe, like he could still save you. Like kind of like in the movie The Shift, where it's like there's that one version that where he could save. And it's like I feel like God's kind of just playing for that, because like if you think about it, whereas like every possibility exists, and then there's already a possibility where you're a bad person that's going to hell. Like you know for a fact that exists somewhere. That universe exists out there somewhere. But you also know that there's a universe out there where you're going to heaven. So it's like it's just a matter of trying to find that version of you that goes to heaven. And I feel like in a way that's kind of like what God is. It's kind of like a chess game where he's trying to get that version of you, whereas like the devil's trying to get the version of you that goes to hell. Whereas like they're all just fighting for that one version of you in all these multiple different universes.
I got me, bro. Damn. That really makes you think about how you view life though too.
And it's like I feel like that's where you really start to see the like reincarnation. You're like probably like seeing different lives where you could have made different choices and shit. And people have like deja vu and shit like that. And like you're seeing like, okay, are you gonna be the version that makes it into heaven? Are you gonna be the version that makes it into hell? And so it's like it's up to you, but it's like every universe, I guess like there's a universe for everything. So it's like you're going to both places at the end of the day technically. It's just like which version are you gonna be?
And that narrow road is always the light where there's a.
That's crazy to think about because it also makes you think like what's the point of everything?
To get close to God, to get to
Like
God.
ultimately though, beyond that, like obviously you get close to God, and like what's God's plan beyond that? I guess we can't even
Good.
begin to imagine that.
Good.
Just
Well,
good.
maybe I don't know. Like I feel like it's just a better life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like crazy to think about because it's like that's something way beyond our imagination that we can't even begin to try to
What?
comprehend.
What? It,
Like what the fuck could God possibly have planned beyond?
look.
Once we all reach Him, like let's say He finally gets everyone to get close to Him.
I'll say this. Look, I'll say the way I think about it. I feel God gave us a chance where like you said, why, like at the end, what is it? What if we do always pick the way of like following the way of He wants us to follow Him, like the good, the choices that we should be choosing.
Yeah.
It'll make us think like, damn, like even if you think of life like, I feel like I did good in life. I feel like I followed my faith close to Him, and like you living the best that you can, like following the good way. I feel like as a good person, because of course we're always gonna get tempted into going to other things. Everybody gets tempted,
Yeah.
but like we're like the whole point of you saying that there's two ways, always gonna be two ways. If you always if you always think that, then if there's gonna be two ways, you're always gonna want to get to go the way where God is, to go too closer to God. If you have faith in Him, and I feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should have a relationship with God, or if not, try to have a relationship with God. The best way to do that is actually read a Bible, because it
Yeah.
has His words of Him and like what He would want you to do to how to become a better person. Because people are gonna be like, "What is being a good person? What does this make it like good? Does people say it's good, but it might not even be good? Like what the media and everything try to push onto you, trying to make it seem that that's okay, normal, and good. But like if you actually read the Bible and like your faith and everything, you know that's not good. Even you can feel like it's not good.
Yeah.
So you know morally, I feel like you know what is good and what is bad. So and that's where I said like there's people have their choices, people have their faith, and there's people where you. And this is what people say. I guess this is going down more to like I guess spirit, like me, faith, my faith.
But we've been down that.
Yeah.
We've already been going down that road,
But
bro.
what I'm saying now is that like that's why for the people, if they're choosing the way to go, because the devil is here to deceive people as well, get as much as he
Yeah.
can. So if the people are he's getting people, if he's getting people, he's gonna be what is called. He's not gonna worry about them, but it's our job, our time to like to help them, try to get them at least get closer to God.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they might think this way. I could think about like just. I feel like I talk about like a lot with the LGBT, but like when I say this, like the people that like more like gothier or like they look like they need help. They might be happy though. Who knows? But like some of them, they don't care because they be like if God has it, they think God don't love them. But
Well,
that's what I'm saying. I feel like we can always push it to like if they get close or they read the Bible and try to ask God, help me like read the Bible, help me learn something up with it. If you like, this is where you build a relationship. You build it. You read His word, but you while you're reading His word, He's still there with you. You're still building a relationship with Him.
yeah.
So that's how it's gonna be helping you to like actually get to know what's good, what's His ways to get closer to God, and not get closer to the devil or get because you don't want to be with Him. You don't. Like, and people say why. At least what it says in the Bible and everything, like it's just evil. Like it's evil. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
Negative, like negative energy.
Yeah, you don't want to be near that. Once you've experienced that energy, you realize like it's just
You're not gonna want what you want.
it's like people don't understand how overwhelming it can be. I feel like once like experience that with that demonic energy, like it's kind of like there's not like an easy way to explain it, but it's kind of like you feel like just anxiety take over you, and you just like feel because I mean, we both experienced it. It's like you kind of just feel it, and it's like
The energy.
undeniable. Yeah, and you just know, you just like, oh, this is off. But you feel it like the camera turned off. But yeah. Yeah, once you experience that, you're just like, nah, I don't want to be anywhere. And that's just a taste of it. That's like, imagine that for eternity. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. But
and this is what I'm saying. Like we gotta be careful, and this is the part where it gets like scary at times. Because we don't know. Right now, we're just saying this. We're not even big. But if it ever got to where it got viral and people start noticing it, it puts us in trouble. It puts us in danger. And like that's what people don't really know. Like with social media and everything. And I can feel like I can see why some people don't want to do it because of that reason. But like a lot, and people already know this. A lot of if you actually do your own research, people you can find this online. Like it's not hidden. But like the wealthiest people, like what's the rocks
the
Rothschilds and like Bedrock, I think Rockefellers, all of them have a shitload of money. They probably own some of the countries, like straight up owned by have owned like they're the ones that do banks. So like if you really think about it, like if they're on the bad side or evil side or they're getting if them themselves are getting tempted or already like their family's already part of something, so they make force their families to get into it. Because some of them, they're babies. They don't know best.
Well, you know what? And this goes into low-key Freemasonry. A lot of people I've heard, because I mean, I've never fucking been a Freemason. I've never met any Freemasons, and I'm glad. And it's probably why I am the way that I am. Is a lot of Freemasons are born into it because their parents are, and so they're just like that's just what they're gonna become when they grow up.
Like it's like if they're getting controlled now, they're not even them.
And from what I've seen, because I've watched like a couple videos, like I look into that shit because that's just pretty intriguing to me. Just because they're so secretive about everything. But I don't know. This shit might make me a target. They don't like having their shit put out there. But there has been a few Freemasons that have come out once they've been in it for a while, and they straight up will let you know like, some of the things that they do, they're straight up demonic. Like they're straight up worshiping the devil in Freemasonry. And I feel like
that's already known.
A lot of the reason why even some of the Freemasons, like some Freemasons, truly believe that they don't worship the devil, because the thing is, you have to work your way out. Like they're very secretive. Like so, if you're like on the bottom tiers, they don't tell you what's really going on. You're just following the rituals. You just think you're part of this, like fraternity, because that's what they treat it like. It's like a fraternity. Bless you. You finally done?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to go. Thank you.
All right. But motherfucker. Okay. So, a lot of the people that are like that just begin, they don't really realize that they're like worshiping like the devil. They're kind of just following these rituals like it's fraternity. They're just like, okay, this is just tradition. This is just what we do. And then they like, as you work your way up, you slowly start to realize like, okay, like you're doing more and more like demonic shit. And the way that they work is that they keep a lot of their secrets through blackmail. So they'll try to get something on you. So they'll try to get you to do something bad. They'll try to get you to do something illegal. So that if you ever try to talk, they'll try to expose you. They'll try to like do something.
They'll fuck you up. They'll just like either put you in prison or
they have their ways of trying to keep people silent. That's why they've been secret for so long. But I've seen like actual like ritual. There's this one ritual that someone recorded. They actually went in there and recorded, and I don't know. It's pretty demonic, to be honest. They pretend to kill the guy. And I think it was like an initiation ritual, and like they pretend to kill him. And they're basically saying like the ritual was supposed to be like you're giving up your old life and you're joining, like you're giving us like this is your new life. But it was basically like this whole ritual behind that, and I don't know. It's just the whole thing feels kind of weird. Like it felt kind of silly because like the dudes were like singing and like fucking chanting, and they were like in all robes, and just seeing grown ass men doing that shit just looks goofy as fuck, which is like. That's always a red flag, regardless. Like, even if you don't believe in any of that satanic shit, seeing fucking grown ass men in robes, fucking chanting, that shit's fucking weird. Stay away from that shit, even if you don't believe in any of this. Like, you don't have to believe in any of that to know that's fucking weird.
All this is conspiracy, guys.
Yeah, for legal reasons.
All this, at least, what we're saying, the whole dimension thing, that.
I mean,
that's still conspiracy.
Theory. It's not conspiracy.
Yeah, it's theory.
The other type of theories.
Yeah, theories.
Game theories.
Because this is like our thoughts. It's not like this. Some people might agree. Some people might not. It's just we like to ramble. Nah. And this could put us in trouble. Could not. But I mean, like if you really think about it, a lot of people notice this too. Like there's a lot of videos. People try to post up, but then the actual social media itself takes it down.
It's like
they don't want you to post.
I feel like it's pretty obvious to me. I feel like people just want to deny it because it's kind of like a grim reality, and it's kind of depressing. But at the end of the day, like it's better to just come to terms with the fact that they do they're like Freemasons. They'll always try to approach people in power. Because one of the interviews that I read that I heard it was an interview, like a YouTube interview of a Freemason, and they're talking about how a lot of Freemasons are in like very tight knit communities. So like military, like a lot of military people will get invited to become Freemasons, especially if they start ranking up like to higher ranks, or like cops. If cops start ranking like reaching higher ranks, they start getting invited to become Freemasons. Basically, congressmen, like anyone that's like political, anyone that has like any type of power, and like even in entertainment, you see that shit now. So it's like they kind of try to infiltrate these industries in a way that is not that noticeable. Like at first they'll like come in, and they'll just like start. Casually talking like, yo, like maybe they'll just like recruit a couple people, but then eventually once they start taking full control, like that's the only way that you can make your way up in that industry is by becoming a Freemason. That's low-key what we've seen with entertainment nowadays, where it's like you don't see entertainers going up, like actresses, singers, really any type of entertainment, unless they're giving themselves off to Freemason, like they're selling their souls.
When people say they sell their souls, like not like actually selling their soul, but like they kind of do.
No, that too.
Like they kind of do. Like they do. Like after they die, of course, because they're doing the rituals and all that. So technically, yes, they do sell their soul. But another way of like they sell their soul is that you're just pretty much a slave. Like you lose you're pretty much signing your rights, your rights.
In both senses.
Yeah, you're like pretty much you're just a slave. So if you don't like something, they could do something too.
Well, here's the thing. Biblically speaking, you can't actually sell your soul because it doesn't belong to you. It's actually God's. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the Bible. I don't remember where. But you can't actually sell it. So you can't sell what's not yours. So I feel like that's why physically they end up, selling their soul. Whereas like they have to actually sell themselves, like you said, like become slaves to the industry. Because that's the only way that you could actually sell your soul. Because it's not yours to begin with. Because God literally gives us life. He lets us borrow life for some time, and then he takes it away. It's not ours to be selling.
Yeah.
So that's but
like pretty much you're just slaving yourself.
But yeah, but the thing is, that doesn't mean you're still free from punishment. You attempt to sell your soul, you're still going to hell, because that it's not even about that. At that point, you're also when it comes to like selling your soul, like you realize what that really means is they actually end up doing work for the devil, and that's why you see them promoting demonic themes and all this, very trashy shit. It's because part of that, is selling your soul, is actually putting in the work, because that's as close as you can get to selling your soul at that point, is like doing the work for the devil. It's pretty much to him. He's satisfied with that. Even if God says, you can't actually have a soul, at that point, the devil's satisfied. He got what he wanted. He got more people to fall into sin.
Honestly, like, yeah, that's why you see a lot of stuff on social media too. Like, let's say in Disney, there's a movie, a Christmas movie, I think, and there was like, I think, a Santa movie where there was like little kids, and they said, "I love," supposed to say, "I love Santa," but instead it said, "I love Satan," and they're like, "Hey, what is that?" And then they fixed it to Santa, but like,
But
it's they, like, you could tell they're doing it right there. Like, they're showing you. Like, you'd be like, "Oh, well, it's just a joke." Ha ha ha. No, they could have done something else. It didn't have to be that right there.
yeah, but there's actually some theories, and this goes how, I mean, that depends how much you believe into it. But there are actual theories that suggest that Satanists are the ones that introduce Santa into the culture because they're trying to distract from the original celebration. But it goes deeper than that if we're gonna go into the whole celebration of Christmas of like that, because Jesus wasn't actually born
On Christmas.
on Christmas,
Yeah.
and so there goes a lot. There's a lot of debate as to, like, where the whole holiday came from. But I do know for a fact that Santa Claus had nothing to do with it from the beginning until he kind of just got introduced into it, and then it became its own thing. But I mean,
That's why.
it still distracts from like
That's
the
why
point.
eventually they do that too, but they celebrated more than Tres Reyes. The three lords were three. The
Yeah,
three.
the three wise men.
Yeah, and I feel like that one's a lot better than Santa.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I don't know if they're still bad, but like I feel like that one's a lot better than.
Here's the thing: I'm not the type of person that's like, okay, you're not allowed to have fun. Like, I don't have anything against Santa Claus as long as you don't forget, to celebrate. I guess the reason that
Christmas
Christmas
is.
is as widely, because here's the thing: is like I understand that Christmas, some people don't even believe that it's actually because of Jesus' birthday. But whether or not you believe that it's because of Jesus' birthday, Christianity is the reason that it's been popularized. So it's like the only reason Christmas is celebrated worldwide like the way that it is because of Christianity, is because of the association. So it's like even if you're not gonna, say that Christmas was like if you're not like some people want to say like, oh, it's just like a celebration of the winter solstice. It's not actually, you're not actually celebrating the birth of God, the birth of Christ. So yeah, but like
Wait,
the
that's what
reason,
it is.
that's what some people say.
What is the what the birth?
The winter solstice.
And that it lands on that day.
I don't fucking know. It
Well,
lands on different times, different days every
years.
year. I'm pretty sure.
We'll see.
I don't think it lands on the same day every year.
Probably not, but like, I'll tell you how this could but continue.
But my point is whether or not you believe that the origins of, Christmas is the birth of Jesus, Christianity is still the main reason why it's the most, one of the most celebrated holidays of the time, because Christianity has been, the most spread religion. So it's the reason most people celebrate it now. At least the most. I feel like that's the reason it was.
December 21st for this year. I don't know if it changes every year.
What did it say? 20. Yeah, the fact that it's showing different years tells me that it's different times. Put in 2023.
The 21st.
For this year.
Okay. The 21st.
Oh, it's the same year, same day every year.
Yeah. Maybe not the same like actual day, but the same date.
So yes, I mean it doesn't have to be the same day of the week. It's never gonna be the same day of the week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so the 21st is when it starts.
21st. So it's around the same time.
Mm.
It's 4 days off.
So that's why they're celebrating it.
Well, that was the pagan holiday that they would celebrate.
So yeah, that's what people say they celebrate it too, is for the pagans. That's how the whole thing started too.
That's where the Christmas tree came from. To be honest. I feel like
free history, there's a winter solstice that's been a significant time of year in many cultures, has been marked by festivals and rituals. It marks the simple death and rebirth of the sun. The gradual waning of daylight hours reserved and begins to go again.
So that's basically where the days start getting longer again.
This is where the daytime saving comes in. Daytime saving.
Yeah.
So with the whole winter solstice, I didn't know that. So the 21st of December is whenever the sun is gonna start coming back. Where I think we're getting closer to the sun.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to the sun.
That's where the days finally start getting longer again.
There's more day than there is night.
Which means that the 20th is the longest night.
Yeah.
It's the shortest day and the longest night.
I wonder if people do things then.
What? Do things?
Yeah.
Like rituals? I'm sure people do. Hell yeah. A lot of witch rituals.
Maybe landing on the full moon too. Jeez.
You know, it's actually kind of weird, like, when shit like that happens. Because, like, I feel like a lot of the higher-ups, they know all of that shit, and they be doing their own rituals. Like, the Freemasons, like, low-key, I wanted to do this shit with my sister. Because there's a Freemason lodge near my house. And low-key, I kind of wanted to drive by when there's like an eclipse to see if they're just like doing a gathering or some shit. True. We never ended up doing it.
A full moon?
It was I think it was during the solar eclipse.
Oh.
I was like, yo, we should drive by just to see if they're doing some shit. Just to see if they're having a meeting. So be interested.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll do it right there. I feel like they'll do it somewhere else.
Meet up in the fucking woods somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. I feel
like I heard of a story. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of stories, but it's just creepy to think about. You know, like the rangers, like the park rangers. So there's this story of this one guy that was watching. He was like in a watchtower. He's supposed to like watch for like forest fires and shit. And so he sees a big fire, but he looks over and it's just a bunch of like, it's like a cult, and he just sees like they're all doing their shit. And when he goes over, they're all gone. The fire's already out, and they saw him.
So they that quick?
Yeah, I mean it's far, bro. He has to climb down the whole. You know, like have you seen like those towers? You know, like in Fortnite when you land on like those tall ass towers. It's like one of those. So that's like you have to like walk down all the stairs. That's the type of towers that they use to like watch like big parks. So he was literally standing on that shit. He's like watching through the binoculars, so he's there far as shit. And he just sees a big ass fire, and it's like this coal, and they're just like burning something, like a big ass bonfire. They're burning something big. And by the time he gets there, the shit fires out. They're all gone. Yeah, I guess they saw him somehow. I mean, he probably had the lights on in the tower or some shit.
And he turned it off or something. I don't know.
Because a lot of the times the people have like a bed in there too, and like they'll be living there for some time.
Damn. So he just saw them and went and it just boop. Damn. How far was it though?
I don't know. But that's a scary thought to think about. And the thing is, like, he said, like, nobody believes him about it, but I believe it. To be like, he said he told his family and everything, and they wouldn't believe it. It's like, bro, I believe that shit.
I mean, if he's
It's
out
like,
there,
cults are real, bro.
but even then, if he's the one out there and sees it, like, why would like? Yeah, of course you might not believe it because you didn't see it, but if you saw it, you would have been saying the same shit
Bro,
too.
I mean, like, cults are real, though. I feel like it's not even that unbelievable.
Especially if he's scared about it. And
Especially
he's
out there, I feel like in that area, I feel like that's where you would see them doing shit like that.
in the woods. Jeez. But yeah, wow, that's this.
10 dimensions, and we're talking about cults.
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking that too. I was like, this was like this podcast was. I mean, that was the topic. Doesn't mean we were gonna come off. That's why we ramble.
What if that's ultimately our goal, is to work our way up through the dimensions? That's how we get, like, he wants us to actually get closer to God, like, by going through the dimensions. Like, the angels are higher dimension than us.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if
there's angels even higher than
but
that.
that's what I wonder is like, if what is called
The devil got demoted to negative dimensions. So
no, but what I was thinking is, you know how there's another branch.
What if that's a thing? Actually, we don't know.
What if like one of the branches? No, I don't know.
What if the branches snapped and just fell off? It's like,
dude, I just want to know like with the line thing, because the way I see the line is there's a circle, and then there's another dot, and then it keeps on creating more dots, and it just keeps going. So when I want to know, it's like for seventh dimension, how would the dots and everything like look? The line, like I saw there's a picture,
bro.
but it looks complicated.
So if we're talking about the first dimension, there's so many fucking dots everywhere. I think this whole table is made up of dots. This is just the third dimension. I guess fourth dimension.
Uh-huh.
Basically, everything is a dot. It's kind of like atoms in a way, but even smaller. It's like basically what atoms are made up of.
So what is energy?
Pixel. According to Futurama, it's pixels.
What about energy?
Energy. But
is that an atom?
Maybe.
An atom is
energies. Energy? Yeah. I think, I don't know. To be honest.
But if you split an atom, it creates a nuke.
Yeah.
So if a nuke is created,
so that's actually
what's beyond a nuke?
So that's actually another thing that I got into when I was researching that shit, is the 4 different types of forces. So there's gravitational force. There's
explosion.
There's
What's that gravity stuff?
Fuck. I don't remember.
Wavelengths.
Look it up, actually. Oh, you just shut that shit off.
Did it die? It might have died. Oh, I turned it off, right?
No, you turned it off.
Fuck, I forgot.
But there's 4. Basically, it was like 4 fundamental forces of the world, of the multiverse. I guess I don't know what the fuck to call it. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where I was saying gravity is the only one of the 4 that reaches all the way up to the 10th dimension. And that's where everything folds into itself because of gravity.
What is it?
It's the fundamental forces.
What?
Fundamental.
Okay.
Fuck off, Discord.
No.
I hate all those pop-ups when you turn on your computer and it just everything starts up.
The fundamental forces.
Yeah. There you go. 4 fundamental. I mean, that was the other one.
What is it?
Okay, scroll. So it's gravity, electromagnetism, So like electricity magnets, and then the other two had to do with atoms. I think basically one was the force that attracts atoms together, and then the other one was like what causes nuclear explosions. Yeah, so they call it the gravity force, the electromagnetic force, weak force, and strong force. Basically, the weak and the strong force are both like that has to do with atoms. From what I understood, and basically, I think it was the weak atom, the weak force. I think was what was what causes nuclear reactions. I don't remember which one it was which. And then the strong one was basically what holds atoms together. So that one's even stronger. I think that's why it's called a strong force. Versus the weak force is just like that's just, and that's supposed to be like the weak version, and that's what causes nuclear reactions.
So what the strong is
That's what holds it together.
The atom.
Yeah.
So, but what splits it? A weak atom.
I don't know.
Because an atom, I guess technically an atom is both of them combined. So if it splits the weak one, that means it's technically the atom was just weak. They split. Do they find a weak atom?
I don't know how they fucking make nukes.
Because if it's connected, if they connect, and that's the reason why they're strong. I mean, I guess if something splits it, it's not strong then. It's not strong enough for that. It's not strong enough for that. That's how it creates an atom because it's by itself now. So that creates the nuke. But what happens to the strong by itself?
I mean, I guess it depends to what atoms though. That's the thing. I don't know. Or maybe I'm confusing them too. I don't know. Scroll down. Let's see. So I just go down, I guess, to the specific part where it's talking about like strong versus the weak. Or, damn, this one looked complicated. Go back. The one I read was not as complicated as this.
Give me a second. Excuse me.
Remember, we don't know half these words.
What the fuck?
we don't have this vocabulary yet. Go.
Strong force right here.
There you go. Yeah, so see, the strong force is what holds things together.
The strong force holds together things that have the same charge. It's stronger than the electromagnetic force, so that's why atoms with multiple protons and neutrons don't fly apart. But almost importantly, it holds together the quarks that make up protons and neutrons themselves. Each proton contains two up quarks and one down. Each neutron contains two down quarks and one up. So here's a picture of a proton and neutron.
So yeah, the strong force is what holds atoms together, and then the weak force is what's released.
These are protons, these are neutrons. So, but then does that mean one is neutron? What the fuck?
What?
So what is a proton made out of? Two ups and one down, and then neutron is made by two downs and one ups.
Ooh.
So that's how that's.
I don't know what any of that means.
Quarks.
Okay. But why are we even talking about this shit again? Forces. I don't know. This shit's interesting.
Joe, what the fuck?
I really said, fuck you. You going right back to the same bullshit.
No. Weak.
Alright, where's the weak force? What does that say?
Okay, a weak force can change a quark from one type to another. So another from up to down. That changes could turn a proton into a neutron and vice versa. This process would also produce a what is this? Neutrino.
A neutrino.
Neutrino
Yeah.
and a electron and anti-electron through a process called beta.
So the article that I read was saying that basically the weak force is
Decoy.
like the nuclear is like when you split it, and like that's what causes nuclear reactions. And then the strong force is basically like the sun. Like that's like when the sun fuses, like the fusion of the sun. That's like a strong force, basically. Because like, that's basically how the sun works. Is like it's just fusing atoms together. It's like literally bringing them, together, it's crushing them together.
I guess you're right, because it burns and it just gets added to it. But
Well, that and also just the fact that it has such a strong gravity. And it's just I feel like it's just and also it's its own force.
I guess that's how it is. You make to make a strong into a weak. You change the you change the you change the quarks, right, to up and then down or something like that.
Well, I feel like it's also the fact that it's just the strongest type of force. That doesn't mean that you can't have a stronger force, if that makes sense. Kind of like if this is gonna sound geeky as fuck, but kind of like if you think about like Pokemon, where it's like technically like let's say a dragon type is like the strongest type of dragon, like the strongest type, right, of Pokemon. That doesn't mean that you can't have a fire type that's stronger. It just means that dragon types are usually the strongest type. It's like trying to fight a water type with a fire type. It's not impossible. It's just harder. I feel like that's kind of like the way that it would work.
Yeah.
It's like it's not impossible to split a super force. It's just gonna be harder. That's why I feel like nukes are expensive, and they're gonna take all that shit.
You gotta find the right atom.
Yeah, and you gotta be able to know how to do it, put a lot of force into it, and that's probably why it comes up with a fucking bomb too. You gotta blow it up, and just put that much force into trying to split the actual atom.
But how big can you make it?
I don't know. We're gonna get fucking raided. Yo, they're talking about making nukes.
Because like, if you think about it, because the way they say that how the world will probably end is if we do go into a nuclear war, but it's because a lot of atoms are getting split.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that fucks up, like it fucked up the universe or just our planet. I don't know.
The universe? I don't know. Maybe. I feel like if you started splitting a bunch of atoms like that, it could probably do some black hole or some shit.
I feel like it could create another
I don't know
dimension.
if it would fuck up the whole universe, but
I feel like it could create a whole new dimension. Like zero.
like another zero dimension.
Yeah, because you just created another. Oop. So that creates another line.
But here's the thing: is like I feel like the zero dimension goes even smaller than atoms. To be honest.
Well, then that could be the 5 or something, because then if you do that, it just creates another thing, another parallel, another whole like another situation maybe. Who knows?
For a fact, we know definitely there's a parallel universe where you didn't blow up the nukes.
Or
there's always gonna be that.
Or, that too, or it could be where like if it does happen, it can affect other dimensions.
It could.
So it doesn't like it doesn't. It's not good. Like it affects other dimensions.
Maybe not, like other dimensions or other universes.
Dimensions.
Yeah.
Because you're cutting an atom and all that kind of stuff. So Oh
Start
no.
fucking with
Yeah.
Start fucking with the fabric of the fucking multiverse. Everything collapses on itself.
So you're fucking with like the dimensions.
That'd be crazy. What if that's low key affecting our time? Like the way time has low key been flying faster. I feel like since we've dropped those bombs. She low key though. What if you're right? What if you're right though?
When did they do it?
I mean,
19?
World War II, but
1990?
nukes have
No,
been going.
19.
More nukes have been going off. It's not just that's just when we use our nukes to end World War II. But there have been other nukes going off in other wars.
What do you mean?
Like we're not. I mean, other countries have nukes.
Just a test though?
Yeah, to test them and shit.
No.
It's not like the only time that we've ever tested nukes. And I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm sure some nukes have been used before. Makes sense. I'm not sure those are the last time we ever used nukes.
That could probably
for
do
war.
how the Mandela effect happens.
Yeah, to be honest. Actually, if we're gonna reconnect it back to that, that could be it. Affecting different dimensions and shit. Could have been the nukes. A lot of people do try to trace back the nukes to like why we're starting to see aliens too. Like they're starting to like.
Because they don't want you to fuck up the fucking
Yeah, they're
dimensions.
saying you're fucking up with dimensions. That could be like illegal or some shit. Like on a higher dimension that we don't even know. Like we could be committing crimes like on the sixth dimension or some shit that we don't even know about.
And they'll be like, alright, you guys are fucked. You guys did this.
You're gonna go for war criminals. That's the crazy thing. You ever think about that though? Like I usually I like that's some crazy shit I think about sometimes where it's like if aliens do exist somewhere out there, there's an intergalactic like confederation somewhere out there already where there's like basically like the United Nations but like with aliens. Whereas like they all get together and they have like peace treaties and shit and they all have like agreed upon rules where it's like these are like war crimes in space and these are like certain laws in the whole galaxy. And it's like if you ever think about like what if we're like unknowingly breaking laws? Like they have these laws set in place supposedly. It's like we're technically undiscovered by aliens or maybe we're not, I don't know. Probably not to be honest, but what if we're breaking these laws because we don't even know about them yet?
I'm trying to
Or
keep these
some
oranges.
crazy
Oh,
Is it okay? Come out.
it's better now they're more juicier. Before they were like dry. My fault.
But
Go ahead.
no, that's it. Just it's crazy to think about. So there's this whole fucking society that we don't know about. Technically, I feel like aliens do exist, and I'm sure there is intergalactic society somewhere. So because just the universe, just the universe, not even the multiverse, not even talking about different dimensions, just this one universe is too big for aliens not to exist.
Do you think that what is called? I mean, aliens. The definition of an alien is something that's not from this
Yeah,
place. So that could be like technically this place means our Earth, our world, our planet. They're not from our planet, or that it can mean that like how people say it in like
different dimensions.
no like countries like let's say in the U.S. because this is what they use the term. If you're from either Mexico, UK,
Yeah,
from Canada, and you
just
come in here, you're still an alien. Not like in a bad way, but it's because you're not from there.
yeah,
You weren't born there. So if you're from outside, you're technically considered an alien.
yeah,
And it's the same thing as vice versa. If the people from the U.S. go to any of the other countries, they're an alien in their country too,
yeah.
because they're not from there. It's not a bad thing. It's just people make it into like a bad thing, but like will make it sound like it's a bad thing. It's like same thing like gay. Gay, the definition from gay, it's happy. But they
It's
put other
homosexual too now.
they put a different name too.
But we can start wrapping up because we're not even talking about dimensions anymore. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been a great episode. We're back in the basement. and we're recording on the phone again. So